Last night's Good Morning America witnessed unprecedented chaos when Helen Mirren was physically escorted from the ABC studios after George Stephanopoulos questioned whether she was too old to understand modern audiences and suggested the 78-year-old actress should leave action roles to younger women who can actually do them. But the dame didn't go quietly. She delivered a devastating expose of age discrimination in media that left Stephanopoulos' journalistic credibility in ruins. What started as promotion for Mirren's new action thriller would reveal something deeply troubling about how morning television treats older female performers. But the real story began in the makeup room, when producers revealed their shocking plans for the interview. The Times Square studios had been tense since Mirren arrived at 4:30 a.m. for preparation. The Oscar-winning actress had specifically requested to discuss the innovative stunt work in her new film and the importance of representing older women as capable and strong. But during the pre-interview briefing, producers kept pushing questions about how she manages at her age and whether she needed special accommodations on set. A makeup artist later revealed overhearing Stephanopoulos tell his team, "Let's see if Grandma can keep up with live television pace. Old people usually can't handle the energy." They prepared a segment comparing her to younger action stars with the title, Then Versus Now, when to step aside. Therefore, the ageist attack was calculated from the beginning. But what Stephanopoulos didn't know was that Mirren had documentation of ABC's pattern of discrimination against older women, and she'd brought receipts. The warm-up producer had been making jokes about senior moments and asking the audience if they knew what TikTok was, unlike some of our older guests. But Mirren sat in the green room, calmly reviewing employment statistics about age discrimination at ABC with the precision of a prosecutor. The show opened with Stephanopoulos delivering news updates with his trademark seriousness, but he made several pointed comments about the importance of knowing when to retire and making room for fresh perspectives. He discussed Tom Brady's retirement, emphasizing how even the greatest need to recognize when they're past their prime. Robin Roberts seemed increasingly uncomfortable, exchanging worried glances with Michael Strahan. But Stephanopoulos appeared energized by his theme, making references to the delusion of eternal youth and when ego prevents graceful exits. Therefore, by the time they returned from commercial break, he'd already established his narrative. Older people who keep working are selfish and delusional. "Please welcome Academy Award winner Helen Mirren," Robin Roberts announced warmly, clearly trying to set a respectful tone. Mirren walked out with perfect posture, her silver hair gleaming under the lights, her presence immediately commanding the space. The audience erupted in enthusiastic applause, many standing immediately. She greeted Robin and Michael graciously, but when she reached Stephanopoulos, she paused. "George, you look tired. Perhaps you should consider retiring," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Helen, let's discuss your new action film. At 78, aren't you concerned about taking roles from younger actresses who can actually perform these stunts?" Stephanopoulos asked immediately, not even pretending courtesy. Mirren studied him for a long moment. "I did all my own stunts, George. Can you do a single push-up? Should we test your fitness before questioning mine?" she replied calmly. "This isn't about me," he started. "Isn't it? You're 63. I'm 78. Yet you're sitting behind a desk reading prompters while I'm doing fight choreography. Which one of us is really showing their age?" Mirren asked. Therefore, the confrontation was immediate and sharp. Stephanopoulos tried to recover. "I'm simply suggesting that action roles require a certain physicality. That I have and you don't. I train 5 hours a day. You train your ego 5 hours a day. There's a difference," Mirren interrupted. She stood up, her movement fluid and powerful. "You want to discuss physicality? I can hold a plank for 3 minutes. I doubt you can hold a thought for 3 seconds without your writers feeding it to you," she said. Robin Roberts tried to intervene. "Helen, tell us about the training." But Mirren raised her hand. "Robin, I appreciate you, but George here needs education. He's been discriminating against older women for years, and it stops today," she said. She pulled out a folder. "These are employment records from ABC. In the past 5 years, you forced out 17 women over 50, but kept men the same age. You've denied promotions to older women while advancing younger ones with less experience. Should we discuss this pattern? She revealed. Stephanopoulos went pale. Those are confidential. So was my age until you made it the focus of this interview. You opened this door, George. Now walk through it, Mirren challenged. Therefore, she moved closer to his position. You want to know what's really happening? You're terrified of aging. You see older women thriving, and it reminds you of your own mortality. So you try to diminish us. But George, darling, your Botox and hair dye aren't fooling anyone. You're aging too, just less gracefully, she said. The audience gasped. Several people applauded. But Mirren pulled out her phone. Want to hear something interesting? These are recordings from your staff meetings. Should I play the one where you said, no more women over 60 unless they're dying or Democrats? Or the one where you called older female guests ratings poison? She asked. That's taken out of context, Stephanopoulos protested. The context is sexism and ageism. There's no good context for discrimination, Mirren replied. But then she revealed something even more devastating. Your own mother is 79, George. 1 year older than me. Does she know how you talk about women her age? Does she know you consider her demographic irrelevant? She asked. Michael Strahan spoke up. George, she's making valid points. Not now, Michael, Stephanopoulos snapped. See? Anyone who challenges you gets silenced. That's not journalism. That's dictatorship, Mirren observed. Therefore, she addressed the camera directly. To every woman watching who's been told she's too old, who's been pushed aside for someone younger, who's been made to feel invisible after 50, you are not too old. You are not invisible. You are not disposable. Don't let anyone, especially insecure men, tell you otherwise, she said. Security, Stephanopoulos called out suddenly. You're having me removed? For exposing discrimination? How perfectly predictable, Mirren said. As security approached, she pulled out another document. This is a lawsuit being filed today. Age discrimination, hostile work environment, systematic sexism. Your behavior today will be Exhibit A, she revealed. You can't, Stephanopoulos started. I can and I am. I've been documenting everything. Every sexist comment, every ageist joke, every discriminatory practice. You thought I was just another old woman to dismiss. Surprise, darling. I'm your reckoning, Mirren said. Therefore, as security moved to escort her, she stood tall. I'll leave. But first, let me tell you something about aging, George. It's a privilege denied to many. It brings wisdom, experience, and the confidence to stand up to bullies like you. You should try it sometime, instead of desperately trying to stop it, she said. As she was being let out, she called to the audience. Remember this moment. They're removing a 78-year-old woman for speaking truth about discrimination. This is what ABC considers acceptable. Is it acceptable to you? She asked. The audience erupted. Many stood and booed Stephanopoulos. Others chanted, let her speak. The show descended into chaos. Robin Roberts stood up and walked off set in solidarity. Within seconds, #Mirren exposes ABC was trending globally. The video went viral immediately. But more importantly, the lawsuit she mentioned was real. Other female employees joined it. The evidence was overwhelming. Within hours, more women came forward with stories of age discrimination at ABC. Former employees, current staff, and guests all confirmed the pattern. The Me Too movement evolved into an age discrimination reckoning. Disney executives launched an emergency investigation. Major sponsors withdrew support. Women's organizations called for Stephanopoulos' resignation. The network faced potential millions in damages. Stephanopoulos attempted an apology the next morning, but Robin Roberts' empty chair beside him told the story. Michael Strahan looked disgusted. The show's chemistry was destroyed beyond repair. Meanwhile, Mirren's film broke box office records. Women of all ages flocked to support her. She became a symbol of resistance against ageist discrimination. Therefore, the incident sparked legislative discussions about age discrimination in media. The Mirren Act was proposed, strengthening protections for older workers in entertainment. Mirren released a powerful statement. I was removed for refusing to accept discrimination. If standing up for older women is controversial, we have serious problems. Age is not a weakness. It's a strength they're trying to steal from us, she said. Years later, when ABC settled the lawsuit for an undisclosed 8-figure sum, Mirren donated her portion to organizations fighting age discrimination. The settlement required mandatory training and systemic changes. But that morning, all anyone saw was Helen Mirren being escorted out for refusing to be diminished. She'd been kicked off for exposing systematic discrimination. The image of her walking out with dignity while Stephanopoulos cowered became iconic. At 78, she'd stood against institutional ageism and won. She'd turned a morning show appearance into a civil rights moment. She'd proven that age discrimination was the last acceptable prejudice, and it was no longer acceptable. Stephanopoulos' career never recovered. He became the face of media ageism. The man who'd built his reputation on serious journalism was exposed as someone who seriously discriminated against women for aging. The dame had entered that studio knowing exactly what would happen. She'd brought evidence, lawyers, and determination. She'd turned their ambush into her ammunition. And she'd proven that sometimes the most powerful thing an older woman can do is refuse to disappear quietly.